It's grit and grace, side by side, fire in my chest, calm in my mind. I'll build what lasts, I'll choose my lane, turn pressure into purpose, paint it again. With grit and grace, I'm free to be all I am, becoming steadily.
There's a sentence I hear a lot in business and in life. It's not my fault. And sometimes that's true. Sometimes it's circumstances and they are genuinely unfair, unexpected and beyond your control. But the hard truth, even when something isn't your fault, it still becomes your responsibility to respond. Because blame might explain the situation, but responsibility changes it. Welcome to Grit and Grace, where we talk money, mindset, leadership, and the standards that make success sustainable. I'm Donna, and I'm here talking about responsibility, the kind that builds stable businesses, resilient people, and calmer lives. This is not an episode about pretending hard things aren't hard. It's an episode about reclaiming your power. I want to paint a familiar picture. There's two business owners. They're facing exactly the same environment. Higher costs, tighter consumer spending, constant noise online, and a general sense that everything is harder than it used to be. Owner number one says, no one is spending. The economy is cooked. The government has ruined it. My clients are cheap. My industry is dead. This is happening to me. The second owner says, this is the environment. It's not ideal. Now, what's my next move? What can I control this week? What needs to change in my offer or my pricing, my marketing or my systems? What conversations do I need to have? What do I need to face? It's exactly the same world. It's just a different posture. And the difference isn't optimism, it's leadership. Because one person is outsourcing power and the other is collecting it. Now, just to be clear, I am not saying wars, economic pressures, cost of living, stress, government decisions, they impact everybody. They do impact us and they can be devastating. What I'm saying is this: if your default setting is blame, you will stay stuck because you'll be waiting for the world to change before you change. And responsibility is the decision to stop waiting. Blame is seductive. Blame gives you relief. It gives you a story where you are not at risk of being wrong or exposed or required to change. And that relief is real, but it's short-term relief with a very long-term price. Because if the economy is the reason, if the government is the reason, if the algorithm is the reason, if people are the reason, then what can you do? Nothing, you just wait. And the longer you wait, the more anxious you become, because deep down you can feel the truth. Waiting is not a strategy, it's an avoidance pattern. Responsibility, on the other hand, can feel confronting because it removes your excuses, but it also returns your power. We need to separate two things that often get muddled. Responsibility is not self-blame. Responsibility is not everything is my fault. Responsibility is not I should have predicted this. Responsibility is not I'm bad because this happened. Responsibility is this is the situation. What is my role in what happens next? It's about responsibility, your ability to respond. And this matters because some people avoid responsibility because they think it equals shame. And it doesn't. In fact, shame makes you smaller. Responsibility makes you steadier. You can acknowledge reality without punishing yourself. And that's grit and grace together. Let's be honest about why blame is so common. Sometimes blame is covering grief for what you expected life to be. Sometimes blame is covering fear. It's a fear that you can't handle what's required of you. Sometimes blame is covering pride, because if it's them, you don't have to admit you have avoided something. And sometimes blame is covering exhaustion, because when you're depleted, responsibility can sound like more effort, when what you really need is support and a plan. So if you recognize yourself here, I'm not interested in judging you. I'm interested in helping you shift, because the moment you stop blaming, you start building. And building is what creates stability. Let's talk about responsibility and what it actually looks like in business. And this is not a motivational poster, it is a real behavior. Responsibility is checking your numbers even when you'd rather not. Not because it's fun, but because avoidance is expensive. Having the uncomfortable conversation early with a client, with a contractor, with yourself, because delay turns small issues into big ones. Reviewing what worked and what didn't without turning it into a personal attack. Okay, that campaign didn't land. What do we need to adjust? Pricing honestly. Not undercharging and then resenting your clients. Not blaming the market when your pricing is built on fear. Owning your part in the outcome. Not everything. Your part. And here is the leadership shift. Blame focuses on what is unfair. Responsibility focuses on what's next. One keeps you emotionally busy, the other moves you forward. And this isn't just about business, it's relationships, it's health, it's money, it's time. Responsibility is recognizing when you are repeating a pattern and calling it by name. It's noticing when you are saying, I don't have time, when the truth is that you're actually avoiding it. It's noticing when you say, that's just how I am, when the truth is, I've practiced this for years. And again, no shame. But you cannot change what you keep excusing. Responsibility is the end of excuses, not because you're harsh, but because you're done paying for them. So here's the reset you can use when you feel yourself spiraling into blame. There's 3 questions. What is true right now, without the drama, without the soapbox, just the facts, not the story? What is in my control within the next 7 days? Not the whole year, just the week. And what is the next right step, even if it is uncomfortable? Send the email, review the numbers, adjust the offer, have the conversation, book the appointment, ask for support. If you do this consistently, you will become someone who is very difficult to derail. Not because life stops happening, but because you stop outsourcing your power. So for the next 7 days, notice what your default blame sentence is. It's the economy, it's the government, it's my clients, it's my partner, it's my past, it's my industry. And each time it appears, I want you to add 1 line to it. Even if that's true, my responsibility is. And then choose 1 small action and do it within 48 hours. This is how leaders are made, not through perfect circumstances, but through consistent responsibility. Some things are not your fault, but you still get to choose your response. Blame explains, responsibility changes. Until next time, keep your grit and protect your grace.
In the quiet, before the daylight breaks, I'm drawing lines for my own sake. I've carried more than I let on show, still found a way to learn and grow. With steady hands I set the pace, a fierce heart held in gentle space. I won't trade my peace for proof, I won't build a life without a roof. I'll rise, I'll rest, I'll recalibrate, strong enough to do, wise enough to wait. It's grit and grace. pulling me through. When doubt is loud, I'll still begin. Again and again, I'll choose to win. Not by force, not by fear, by showing up year after year. It's grit and grace, side by side, fire in my chest, calm in my mind. I'll build what lasts, I'll choose my lane. Turn pressure into purpose, paint it again. With grit and grace, I'm free to be all I am, becoming steadily. Grit and grace, I rise, I breathe, I make my place. Grit and grace, side by side I run.